When testing projects, it is essential that all parts of your program have been executed. You would be familiar with compound C statements like if, while, and switch, which conditionally execute substatements based on the value of a controlling expression. Several values of the controlling expression must be encountered to ensure that these statements have been fully validated. Sometimes expressions within an executed statement are not evaluated. If the first ANDed expression in an if statement is false, for example, the remaining expressions are not evaluated. And after execution of the controlling expression, only one of the remaining conditional statement expressions is evaluated. Even if all the C statements execute and all the expressions are evaluated, some source code produces assembly that contains conditional branches, like this simple-looking bit field assignment when compiled with the MPLAB XC8 compiler. Thus, there could be instructions that have not been executed, even though the corresponding statement has. Any code can have side effects that affect other parts of your program, and it is virtually impossible to know if you have tested every combination of controlling expression, which is why a code coverage tool is important. It confirms that every part of your code has been executed, even down to the assembly level. A code coverage tool is available in the MPLAB X IDE simulator. To enable this feature, open the Project Properties dialog. Select the Simulator category, the Code Coverage Options option category, and finally select a code coverage mode from the drop-down list. There are two enabled modes, which differ only in how the code coverage data is collected. The Enabled Reset on Run mode will display only the data collected since the location where execution last recommenced, regardless of whether your program was reset or stopped at a breakpoint. The Enabled Reset on POR mode will display a cumulative total of all the data since the device was reset. Once you have indicated the capture mode, compile and run your code as required. After execution has been paused or reached a breakpoint, the code coverage data is shown in the Output window under the simulator's Debugger Console tab. Two maps are shown in the window, one for the code that has been executed, the other for code that has not. Let's focus on the map for the code not covered. For each map there are two sections. The first section is labelled Address Ranges and is a list of program address ranges corresponding to assembly instructions that were not executed. The second section, labelled Source Files, shows the corresponding C source information for the address ranges shown in the first section, if that is available. Click the From line and To line links in the Source Files section to take you to the corresponding lines in the editor. Determine the reason these statements were not executed. If they are conditional, you might need to simulate other controlling expression values during testing. For any assembly listed in the Address Ranges section, you can verify the code in the MPLAB XC8 assembly list file, which you can see by going to the Files window, navigating to the dist default debug directory, and then opening the file with the .lst extension. For other compilers, open the disassembly listing from the menu item Window, Debugging, Output, Disassembly List file. For all compilers, check the instructions shown at the specified addresses to see if their execution could affect the validity of your test results.